When I wanted to become a millionaire, I designed myself and started to do things that millionaires do so I could become a millionaire.
Correct.
So I started to...
Hey, what's going on? It's Alfred Nickson.
And I'm Alecio.
Welcome to Prophets and Profits, where we talk about business, finances, relationships, in your faith. Today, we have a special guest that's joining us here on the couch, man. His name is Boniface Ogunti, a world-renowned entrepreneur, someone who's had tremendous success at a very young age, had to overcome so much adversity, and he done mentored so many people around the country, around the world, on becoming successful. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. What you been up to, man?
Man, I mean, since we last met, since I was in Miami here, traveling the world, man, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, I feel like one of the biggest things you can do is travel.
Absolutely.
Like anytime you want to just get away, just travel. You
Okay.
know, and me, I just like to travel. Travel, like in the last year, I probably traveled to over like 12 different countries.
Okay.
Just cause, you know, the thing about me, that's like when I hit big milestones, I like to go experience other things.
Correct.
You know, and I hit a very big milestone and I was like, you know what? Let me go travel the world. Let me go see other different places that I've never been.
Okay.
And one of my favorite places I actually just came from was West Africa.
Okay.
Because, you know, I was born in West Africa.
Correct.
So I was like, you know what? Since I was born in West Africa, I've never really traveled to all the different West African countries. So let me go see how these other people are living in those other African countries to be able to see like what type of business opportunity I could do.
Correct.
Because, you know, as you get older and things like that, you want to be able to give back to the different place you was from. So West Africa is where I was from. And I have and I got into different real estate sector, right? So I started doing new construction there. But getting into new construction there, I wanted to see what other people in the other West African country, what type of development they was building.
Right.
So I went to do that market research to go to different countries and see what other people was doing so I can be able to take that back to my own country and be able to create properties up to the standard of the other West African countries.
Speaking of traveling and entrepreneurship and investing, right? I seen that you made a pretty substantial investment out in Africa in the trucking business.
Yeah,
Liberia?
Yeah. That
was
Liberia.
What happened with that? I know you said it kind of went south or whatever.
I was quite young at the time.
Okay.
So I was like around, this is like when I made my first, this was when I first saved. It was
this
like
was a 7-figure investment.
Yeah.
That was big money, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Still is big money.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the thing about it, when I started making millions on social media, I didn't know where to invest my money in. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, when you start making millions of dollars and saving millions of dollars, you know, and I was like, you know what should I do with my money?
Right.
And the first logical thing you're gonna think is like, oh, let me contact my parents.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
You're gonna be like, let me contact my parents and see maybe they have some opportunities. They know some things that I could be able to invest in, you know?
Right.
So pretty much what ended up happening was I made an investment. We bought about over 30 trucks, me and my dad.
Okay.
So my dad came to me with the opportunity. He was like, you know what? You should invest in trucking because there's a lot of people there's things in Liberia that needs to be transported, and you can be able to make a lot of money based on the amount of trucks that you provide to the company.
Correct.
So pretty much we provided some trucks to the companies, and things didn't go as the flow because I mean it went at this current state when we first started, it didn't go as planned, but over time it started to get better. The reason why when we first started, the opportunity was just laid on the table like, hey, provide this amount of trucks and you can get this contract that makes you about $250, $300K a month. So I was like, okay, you know what? Because I wasn't motivated. I already make more than that in my current business right now. And I wasn't motivated to go to Africa to just go to Africa for my dad to have like one truck. Like I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing?
You want to go big.
Like, it has to make sense.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I'll buy all the trucks. And then what ended up happening, the company that we actually started working with, the roles was not as good as they made the opportunity.
Correct.
So the roles was very bad.
For sure.
So when I went there, first thing first, I went there to Ivory Coast. And when I went there, I started seeing the roles going from Ivory Coast to Liberia. I started seeing the roles, how it was bad. but the trucks was already there. So I'm like, yo, these roads are bad. But they're like, no, the
But are they
trucks
like
are gonna
regular
be good.
concrete roads like we have
No,
here
no,
in
no,
the
no, no.
US?
They're
Dirt
more
roads
dirt
or-
roads, but it's not
So if it
muddy
rains-
dirt roads.
Oh, there you go.
You get what I'm saying?
If it
So
rains.
if it's raining and stuff like that,
yeah.
it gets very muddy. So pretty much what ended up happening was,
For a
Yeah,
big
it's
18
very-
and
yeah.
We're talking what 18-wheeler trucks.
it was like, 18-wheeler trucks. Yeah.
What
Dumb
would you
trucks.
say? What would you say was like the biggest lesson you learned from that investment, going through that process, investing in another country?
One
Like,
thing I would definitely say
what
is
would you
that
do differently?
With the one thing I would definitely say is that go on grounds and learn the environment.
Yeah.
You know, to think about it, when I mean, at the time I was like 22 years old, so it was I was quite young. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like I was like knew where I wanted to invest my capital. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So me trusting other people who didn't know too as well, but just having the confidence in them and was excited to do something, made me want to make that investment. I think one of the biggest lessons I learned is that you have to do market research on anything that you're investing into. Like go on the grounds, learn what's going on. Just
Right.
like how I did. You know, before I even started doing I'm doing a development right now in Liberia where I'm building I'm building a whole estate. So pretty much I had to go to Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone to learn what type of estate people are developing to sell to people in the diaspora.
Correct.
So now I know, okay, this is what's working in these other West African countries. I can be able to develop this in Liberia, and it's going to work for me here too as well. So pretty much, I didn't do that when I was first starting with the trucking business. I was young. I was in Buckhead. I was in a penthouse. I wasn't thinking about going to no freaking Liberia or
Right.
going to Africa.
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh, here's a check. This opportunity has that. I trust my family. You know what? Here you guys go. Boom. Let's buy all of them and we can rock and roll.
I mean, it's not that they did anything to screw you over.
No, it wasn't like they did anything to
business.
screw me
It's
over. It's
something-
business. It's just business. It's business,
but
you know?
let's
So,
take
but what happened? Was it that the trucks got damaged because
So
of
the trucks
the
got
roads?
very damaged. And the thing about trucking is that when it comes to when your trucks get damaged, you have to fix that. And then when you're like me, I was just pouring money into a bleeding business.
get what you're
And
saying.
over time, I was like, no.
So you pulled the plug.
I just pulled the plug
You
off.
sold the trucks.
I
got
sold
rid
the
of
trucks. I kept some of them. I sold some of them. I kept up for some of my development and things. I do it lightly, but not as aggressively that I went initially into it. But
them. Oh,
very
that's good.
lightly.
You still got your hand in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, just very lightly, but not too much. Not as aggressive.
Let's take it back a little bit. Like, you know,
Yeah.
we just jumped into a 7-figure investment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How did you even
How did
get
you
to
that
that
position?
point to invest 7 figures? Who was Boniface Ogunti? How did you start making money online? How
I mean,
did
the
you
thing
start
about it,
going
I've
into
been making money for a long time. I've
Sure.
been making money since I was 16 years old. I made like my first $20,000 in the summer just customizing shoes. I was always on the internet, but I wasn't on the internet in the way that I started to make money after I graduated high school. After I graduated high school, that's when things really changed for me because now I have more of a responsibility. Like I didn't go to college. So I was gonna go to college, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to go to college because in high school, I was already making money. I had a clothing brand, I had a recording studio, I had a shoe custom business. So because I was already generating money, I didn't feel the need that I had to go to college.
For sure.
But I went to a community college. So when I went to the community college, I didn't want to be there anymore. So I kind of dropped out. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be at North Hennepin no more. I had a scholarship to go to Santa Barbara in California, but I had to pay for that. And my parents, it wasn't a full ride scholarship. It was like you pay some and then they cover a certain amount. So my parents didn't want to pay that. So it was like, okay, you know what? Just go to this community college first, for about a year or two, then you can go to Santa Barbara. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go to the community college. And when I was at the community college, I was already making so much money selling my clothing brand. I even had a recording studio. So now I was making money. So it was like, what's the point of me going to college?
Correct.
So then I ended up moving out of my mom's crib. So when I moved out of my mom's crib, I had got my own condo. And this is the time where I was just doing things myself. So on the side, I was like, you know what? Since I have all of this thing, because as I grew up, my whole goal was to become a millionaire by the age of 21. And I did that. That was one of the things. The one thing about myself is that when I say something, I be doing it and I be accomplishing it.
What did you do to make you a millionaire by 21?
Okay, I'll get to it. So pretty much, so when I left my my community college, what ended up happening was I started to now.
Community college in the United States?
Yeah, in the
or
United States.
Okay.
I was raised in the United States. I've been here since I was 3 years old.
You was in Minnesota? Or what?
Minnesota. I was in Minnesota from 3 years old all the way to like 18.
Okay.
That's brutal, bro.
Minnesota.
It's cold as hell in Minnesota.
Cold, super cold in Minnesota. Like me moving out of there was a blessing.
I see why
Like,
you came to Miami.
I don't know how people do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's brutal.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a great place, but not for me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You see, the thing is, we're from Miami, born
Yeah,
and raised.
yeah.
So it for us, it's like Miami's doesn't excite
Yeah.
us. Like
You don't
Yeah, I mean,
appreciate
when
the
you're-
value.
Yeah,
when
we
you're
don't
from here.
appreciate it.
When
100%
people come in from other
appreciate it.
cities.
So us is like, it's
Yeah, I mean,
boring.
when you live in Miami for so long, I mean, I've been living in Miami for a while too. I mean, I can understand what you're saying, but you have to kind of create the environment for it
Correct.
to be pleasurable for
Absolutely.
you.
Correct.
But
anywhere.
that's the thing. Look, we are spoiled because one thing that I wanted to
Yeah.
mention is you traveled a lot, and that grabbed my attention. I wanted to go a little further into that.
12
actually,
countries, that's pretty
because
dope.
I went, me, my wife, my son, we country hopped for 3 months, bro. We were out of the country for 3 months. We went to Israel for a month. We were all over Europe for a month.
Yeah.
And we went, did New Year's in Dubai. I mean, bro, amazing.
Wow.
That was insane. An insane experience. I wouldn't want to repeat it, by the way, the Dubai thing, because it was too hectic.
Yeah.
But it was a hell of an experience that I
Yeah.
recommend everybody to at least try at least once. Burj Khalifa, Dubai, New Year's, you gotta try it. It's hectic, but
Dubai is a place. Dubai is literally a place that you have to go.
You have
sure.
to.
You have to go to Dubai.
That's what
Like,
exploded my business.
Yeah.
If you're an entrepreneur, you have to go.
Yeah, 100%.
So my thing is that what we see Rolls Royces, we see Ferraris, Lambos all over Miami.
don't even pay attention
like
to
it's
that,
a
bro.
Toyota Camry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see it
100%.
everywhere. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't really do anything for us.
Yeah,
Same
I don't
thing in
think you
Dubai.
only have to be an entrepreneur to go to Dubai. I think that you have to have experience in your life.
Correct.
No matter where, if you work a 9-to-5 job,
Yeah.
you should travel. Like even you should get more experience. Because I used to work a 9-to-5 job too. So getting to how I made my first million, I started working at Costco.
Okay.
So first, when I was running my business and I started working at Costco, what ended up happening was I started to make like 5, 6, 7,000 a month. So now, and it was more steady because when I had when I was as an entrepreneur when I was younger, I was making money, but it wasn't as steady.
Fluctuating,
It was
ups and down.
fluctuating and
Okay.
stuff like that. Like when I was younger. So then, what ended up happening was, as I got into working at Costco, I was doing very well. And some of my friends, because I used to play basketball, a lot of my friends who went to my high school, a lot of them look up to me because I always had a leader capability.
I
So a
see
lot
that,
of my
I see.
friends was like, hey, Bonnie, I'm making, one of my friends, his name was Noah. He was like, yo, I'm making 30 grand a month online blogging.
Okay.
I was like, what the hell is blogging? At the time, I didn't even know what. Like, the only thing I knew on social media was post content, make funny videos, and go viral. That was the only thing we knew about social media, you know? So that's pretty much. So now my boy Noah was like, yo, I'm making 30 grand a month blogging, and I make these articles, and in Google put ads or AdSense on the article, and I'm making money off the impressions.
Yeah.
So Noah set me down at a restaurant. He was like, yo, this is how I'm making it. This is what I'm
You
doing.
gotta get a lot of traffic to make that kind of money from AdSense.
So what
Yeah.
he did to create so much traffic, he basically modeled TMZ because TMZ was popping at the time. So he made like a mock-up version of TMZ and got it ranked up.
What year more or less are we talking?
This was around like 2015.
Yeah, because
around
I started
2015.
seeing you a lot.
Yeah, around
on the
2015.
Shade Room. I started
Yeah.
seeing you on the Shade Room. I
Yeah.
started seeing you on Baller Alert. I
Yeah,
started seeing
yeah.
you generating the eyeballs.
Yeah.
Right, to grow your business. What would you say as you started to get into success? Did you have any hiccups? Did you have any things where you was doing well?
man. I mean, 100%. So, like, you always gonna have hiccups in your business.
Did you
Or
have to
things-
pivot? Did you what?
As an entrepreneur, you have to adapt.
Correct.
You have to adapt to different things that's happening because everything is not gonna always stay the same.
Correct.
If you don't adapt, you're gonna get left behind.
Correct.
So.
Correct.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what I do as an entrepreneur, when I was starting my entrepreneurship journey, and I got into when I saw my friend Noah told me all the different things that he was doing with blogging. At the time, I didn't want to do blogging because I felt like, I wasn't the best speller. And I'm always transparent with myself. I was like, ChatGPT wasn't around at the
back
time.
then.
So I couldn't go on ChatGPT and have ChatGPT create some prompts and write an article. You have to actually sit down, write an article, and then put it on the blog. So I couldn't do that at the time. So what ended up happening now, but I didn't stop there. I went online and I looked up, how do I make money online? That's when the entire world changed for me. And one thing about me, when I was growing up, I always been hungry for success. Achieving success was something that I knew that I had to do.
Did you reinvest money into yourself, personal development, events, mentors?
Always.
I remember you told me one of your mentors was Sam Ovens.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah.
What did you learn from him?
So Sam, pretty much with Sam, he just taught me a lot about systems and operations and scaling up a business. I made my first $10 million off the information that Sam taught me. So he taught me a lot of systems on how to do webinars, on how to do
I seen that he was selling
automations.
like high ticket.
Yeah.
I mean,
and brought me
people
around a
was
lot of
paying.
great people. You know, the thing about investing in yourself is the connection, the relationship that you build.
Correct.
When I started to invest in myself, when I started my online journey, I got connected to different people, and now those people are lifelong friends.
Correct.
If I was going to invest in myself and get in the room around other entrepreneurs who are going on the same path, I would have not got here, because the people you meet is the people who's going to pull you to your future,
Right.
not the people who's in your past. I like to make friends on my journey.
Correct.
I don't like to make friends who's not following my path.
Correct.
The only people that I communicate with on a daily basis is people who's going on the path that I'm going on.
Correct.
If they're not going on the
Same
path,
vision.
I don't know what's going on in their life.
Correct.
We're on the same path. You see, like with us right now, you guys are doing a podcast, so we're on the same path.
Right.
We're creating content for you to drive to be able to grow your brand.
Correct.
So we're all on the same path. So I like to just make sure I'm always getting friends that people with me on the same path. But when it came down to the objective of me even getting into the whole online space, because a lot of people are thinking about getting into these different online businesses, when it came for me getting into the online space, I started to do a lot of research. And I started to learn, hey, what are different opportunities people are doing? I started seeing people doing CPA. I started seeing people do FBA. I started seeing people do so many different things. Agency, freaking pay-per-click. There was so many different things people was doing online, but one thing that really stuck out to me when I was first starting was e-commerce. And at the time when I was starting, I don't think e-commerce is a very lucrative business for a beginner right now to start.
Sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah, go ahead.
that's what you did to become a millionaire at 21. E-commerce.
Yes,
E-commerce?
This is when e-commerce was hot. This is when you could run a Facebook ad. You spend $5 on Facebook ad, you probably make $200, $300, $400 in profit. But that's back in the day, and those days are long gone. Now, if you are starting out right now, you want to actually make an income for yourself, start an agency business. Because in agency, you don't have to spend so much money on products.
Break that down to the viewers.
when
What
he-
exactly is an agency business? What does
So
that
let
look
me
like?
explain. So there's a lot of freelancers. There's a lot of contractors online.
Correct.
There's people that specialize in Facebook ads. There's people that specialize in website development.
Okay.
There's people that specialize in SEO. There's people that specialize in funnel building, automation, emails, campaigns.
Right.
So many different things. But they don't know how to gain clients, or they
Correct.
don't have a brand.
How to get customers.
Because they don't know how to get clients, you can utilize those individuals as a contractor for your agency and have them do services for your clients. You can position yourself as an agency. You can start your agency as Alfred Agency, and now you got Alfred Agency. Alfred Agency specializes in Facebook ads. Alfred doesn't have to do Facebook ads. Alfred can find a trustworthy person, freelancer who specializes in Facebook
then you
ads
can outsource
to
that,
do
and
the
then-
work for his clients.
Yeah.
Now Alfred is making a profit.
Yeah, I'm paying
off
them
of
for
that.
doing it, and I'm leveraging. Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
best thing where a person can start, because there's no startup capital. Yes, you might need to invest in yourself for you to get the information to set up the business and every single thing properly. But once you have the business set up, you don't have to invest no capital. You can literally start, and now when
The hardest part is the setup.
it's just a setup. It's learning how to set the entire business up, and that's why we have a program on that.
The hardest part is just getting it up and running.
Yeah.
And I think people get too hung up on trying to get everything perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
don't have
can't
to be
get everything perfect. You're
It's
not.
gotta start.
It's not going to
No.
happen, bro.
You have to just start.
You got to do it.
Because if you don't start, you're never going to be able to get to the finish line. You know, you get better and better over time.
with experience.
Yep, exactly. So like if a person is starting out, like how I made my first million was e-commerce, but those days are long gone.
Yeah,
like
it's tough.
It's way tougher now. Ad costs are high.
Yeah.
There's so much competitions. People are creating crazy brands.
What are you doing differently? We was killing it with ads, or well, not even, I would say influencer marketing, shade room, celebrities.
So a lot of things that we do is different now. So we have a lot of clippers. So when it comes, there's different type of opportunities. Like when we talk about like growing a coaching business or growing a like influencer, like you're trying to grow
getting eyeballs to be able to see your product or service so you can generate customers.
A lot of things that we do now when it comes to getting more traffic is clippers. So I have a lot of video editors. So I have a huge video editors team. I have probably over 100 pages online, and all my video editors post like 5 to 7 videos of me a day.
Like Reels.
On
so you got
so many different
people.
platforms, and it redirects back to my page.
Reels is the secret.
It was the secret. Reels is the secret.
I seen what's this guy? I think he's in Romania right now. It's him and his brother.
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate. I seen him have thousands of people.
Yeah, those are just
post him every single day. That's how he like.
Yeah, and that brings in a lot of leads. So like we have a lot of clippers, and a lot of the clippers post content online. And then after they just post boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's the new way to market now. Yeah. I mean, influencer marketing and things like that are cool.
TikTok, you use TikTok too?
We use TikTok, we use YouTube, we use all platforms.
Okay.
But that's what it is. Reels is what it is right now. On Instagram, TikTok.
Reels content just
absolutely
massive
it's organic, bro.
volume of content consistently.
Yeah.
Building a storyline.
Yeah.
People being able to feel like they know you, seeing what's going on in your life. You're building that trust with that audience.
Yep.
You build equity. And then now you can be able to grab money from it.
Listen, they see your struggles, they see what you've gone through, they see your ups and your downs, they see when you're killing it, they see your backstory, they see it all. So now it's like, you know what, I like this dude. You know, I want to rock with this dude.
100%, man. Marketing has definitely shifted. That's why I always said, if you don't adapt, you're gonna get left behind.
Yeah.
There's so many different things when it comes to marketing now that people don't even take into consideration. People are still doing. There's nothing wrong with influencer marketing because we still do influencer marketing on a lower level, but not as high. Like I used to spend about at least 100 to 200K a week on influencer marketing. But now I spend that on my video editors.
That makes sense.
You know, because my video editors are distributing more content for me.
Correct. Same thing with McDonald's.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
Distribution. McDonald's don't have the best burger in the world, but they own every corner. So that's why they're selling more. You're getting yourself out there through. That makes sense.
Listen, we you know, my favorite burger spot in Miami from back in the days. I don't even need to tell you. You know,
on South Beach?
Yeah, Cheeseburger Baby. That was always my favorite spot.
Yeah.
But that was I mean, that was always my favorite spot. They made the best burgers, but
it was around for a long time. But they stayed in that one location.
Who are they compared to McDonald's?
Yeah,
there's no way in hell McDonald's has better.
They didn't expand.
Than them.
They just stayed there and was comfortable. You get what I'm saying? If they would have distribution and went out there, they could have really been massively.
That's true.
That's what it's all about, distribution, bro.
You got to.
It's exponential growth. You know, I think even in the network marketing model. That's one thing, whether you do network marketing or not, you know, you get put through a university when you go through.
And network marketing is different now. When I first came into the game, you didn't have as many options online. People was seeing this as the holy grail to make residual income.
Yeah.
Now you have e-commerce, you have so many different things.
Yeah.
If you're not creating content, if you're not building a brand online, it's difficult to get customers, it's difficult to get leads, it's difficult to attract. You're going to struggle.
Yeah.
So when you just said that, clippers and having that volume of content, that's where you want to go.
But one thing about you though is that, like you said, that leadership, you have that character in you. It's you need that in you. So even in the world of network marketing, we always say that the guy in the front of the room holding the remote, you know, flipping through the slides, doing the presentations, that's the guy who makes the most money.
Yeah.
Because he's the one, you know, taking that step forward, being the leader and taking that step. And that's what you're doing, you know, just pushing out reels, pushing out content all the time. You're getting your guys pushing out content, distributing your content all the time. It's the same thing, just a different lane.
Yeah.
It's the exact same concept.
100%.
You've built an agency online. Like what is the core problem that your agency solves?
So my agency, when I first got into creating my entire agency, was a lot of people wanted to learn how I made 8 figures online. I get so many messages, yo, Bonnie, how did you scale your coaching business? So what ended up happening was that I didn't want to share my sauce. Just because I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You
I
gotta
didn't
charge
need,
for that.
you get what I'm saying? I didn't want to
Creating
share.
competition.
Can't give it
Yeah,
for free.
I was like, I'm not about to just give people my sauce
Not
on
for
me,
free.
creating my webinars and things like that. I was doing it, even if they was gonna pay me. Honestly, I wasn't gonna do that because I just didn't care about
It wasn't worth it.
sharing it with anybody because I'm already making money. I'm killing it. So what ended up happening was one of my boys hit me up, and then also I didn't know people was as focused as me. One of my boys hit me up. He was like, "Yo, Bonnie, can you help me set up my webinar and set up the systems like you got with your own business got set up?" So I was like, "You know what, bro? I got you." So he came to it was my boy Kenny. He came to Minnesota. As soon as I helped him set up, that year he made over $1 million.
Wow.
So now I already knew, like, okay, cool, this shit works for other people too. Because at the time I already had kind of a following.
Yeah.
I had a following on social media, so I didn't really want to share because I was like, maybe they don't have a big following as me, so they're not going to be able to get that traction like how I do. So then when I set up for Kenny, he didn't have as big as following as me. He started getting traction. I was like, okay, cool, this stuff
He went
works.
viral from the
Yeah.
reels.
Yeah, it started working for him. So what I started, but I didn't start my agency then. I focused on selling my own programs for years. Like I've been online selling courses for probably like over 9 years now. Yeah. And I have over 30,000 people that buy my programs. So because of that experience that I experienced of all these different individuals buying my programs, I learned a lot of optimization strategies to be able to put in place in my business that a lot of people don't have in place. Yeah. So when I came back about 2 years ago, I was like, hey, I'm going to drop an offer on how I can help people set up their entire funnels automation, and I called it Quantum. Every single client that I set up every month, the first month they made over 100 grand. Smitty, also known as Kenneth Smith.
Yeah.
The first month he came through my program.
Oh, he went through your program?
He came to my program.
Okay.
When Kenneth Smith came to my program, first month, he made over 100,000. Then the next month after, collectively within 2 months, he did over $940,000.
Okay.
Just working with me. That was just one. Ramel came through my program. The first month of him coming through my program and utilizing my webinar strategy or my quantum growth creator strategy, he made over $196,000. Vince Fisher, he was making about like 40K, 30K a month online on phones, doing Zoom calls, like how most people do when they're trying to make sales online.
Correct.
He came through, boom, first month, he did $130,000. Last month, Vince just texted me, I was just with him 3 days ago. He did a $500,000 last month, $600,000 this month.
But let me ask this: they're making this kind of money, which is ridiculous money. But how are they doing it? Just
they all have an offer.
Okay.
So I help people start their own agency business, but I have my own agency. So all the things that I do in my own agency is what I teach people how to create in their own agency. Like,
and what's the price point? What's the price point to get into your agency? What does that look like?
So like for which type of client? Because I work with clients who are pretty much like they're regular people who are working 9-to-5 jobs, and they're trying to break free, and they want to make an extra income for themselves online.
What if you say a client? Let's just say this client is okay. You got the person that's 9-to-5.
Yeah.
What about the person that's making 20, 30 grand a month? They're trying to like, okay, how do I scale my business?
So my coaching creator offer is called Quantum.
Okay.
So Quantum Creator Growth, that package goes anywhere for around it starts at like 12K.
Okay.
But it goes up depending on what the person
12K
needs.
one time?
It's a one-time investment.
You offer
for like
financing?
systems. We offer financing and all that too. For like systems and operations set up so they can get to like 100K plus. Okay. But we have other additional services that we offer that people can be able to add into Quantum as well. But that's like our Quantum Creator Growth package. But what I did when I learned that, okay, the agency is one of the best things to do, I started to teach people how to start their own agency business. Okay. Because I was like, hey, you know what? I started this agency business, and when I started the agency business, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was down bad. Yeah. So the reason how I was down bad is that I made a huge investment, and at the time when I made the huge investment, I was like, and at the time for a long time, it was hard for me to see less than $1 million in my account for years. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was like, so when I went and did a huge investment,
and that affected your account,
affected me, I was like 400 grand in my account. I kind of started to panic. Because it was kind of like, damn, what the I'm losing money. So I started making me feel like, damn, I'm losing.
That happened to me, bro. When I came to Miami, it costed me $3 million just to move to Miami. You came to my house before.
I went to your house.
I had made a big investment because I lived in LA for 5 years, and I kind of felt guilty of not being involved in the community where I came from. Because I came from the very, Proverbs environment, right?
Yeah.
And so my question that I have for you is, like, to get to the level that you at right now, right? What would you say you had to unlearn growing up?
You have to become a new person. You have to kill your old version of yourself to become the person you deserve to be.
Okay.
Who I am today is not who I used to be. The person I used to be shy, I was disorganized. I didn't stick to things that I wanted to do. I didn't stick to, like, if I say, hey, I'm going to do this, I would procrastinate. And I realized that for me to become the person who deserved to achieve success, I had to redesign myself. I had to become the person who deserved that success. So how I communicate, the things that I do, the things that I pour into myself, I have to become that person. If I want to become a billionaire, I'm not going to say, hey, I want to become a billionaire and I want to live the life that I'm living now. I'm going to start to design myself and do the things billionaires do so I can become a billionaire. So when I wanted to become a millionaire, I designed myself and started to do things that millionaires do so I can become a millionaire. So I started to go to events. I started to listen to podcasts and audios and listen to people who I wanted to be like. I started to buy courses. I was not saying, hey, because this thing costs this amount, I'm not going to invest in myself. I made myself resourceful for me to be able to get that capital to do it. And I put myself in the room.
So you basically had to re-brainwash yourself.
I had to kill my old self.
I see why you get the results, bro. Your mindset on it is...
We're all brainwashed to think a certain way, whether for good or bad. We're all brainwashed.
Whether to work a regular 9 to 5 or to be entrepreneurs, we're all brainwashed. So there's no shame in that. So you really have to re-brainwash yourself. Into things.
You have to kill your old self. Like, it's just the hard truth.
That's literally...
Because you have to unlearn a lot of things. That the way that we grow up, we may not come from much. So our family only know what they know. They probably haven't got to a place to see 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures. So what they're teaching us foundationally is going to keep us in that realm. We got to get outside of that box and get, like you said, events, get mentors, invest in yourself.
Biblically speaking, that's called baptism, right?
That's
literally what it is.
You got to get baptized.
Because you got to get baptized. But in this world, this is the process.
A lot of the men that I know that I look up to that are 8, 9 figure billionaire, they got married. Do you think getting married? What age do you think will be?
So I feel like,
do you desire to get married one day?
100%. You know, the thing about it is, like, I don't like with me right now, I'm married, right? But I'm not like it's a whole situation, right? So, but the thing about it, what I'm trying to explain is that I don't feel, when I made my first $1 million. When I made my first $1 million, what ended up happening? The person I was with, we was on the same path. So it doesn't matter what you're doing, but the woman, you don't have to be married.
Equally yoked.
You have to have. I always tell people you have to have a connection with that person. It can't just be a sexual attraction, because the thing about it, sexual attraction, if you don't have some type of connection with that person that you guys can be able to do things together, the relationship's not going to work.
If the relationship is transactional or conditional,
yeah,
I think you should have unconditional love. I mean, I don't mind conditional love too, but I think
fall in love with any woman. Like, we could, like, as a man, if a woman looks good, if you're a successful man, you can fall in love with any woman. The war is your oyster. Like, but it's about having somebody that you really have that connection with.
Yes, I agree with that.
That's on the same path as you, though.
That's true.
If you can be with a woman and she's not on the same path as you, then she can knock you off your path.
Correct.
Because she wants to do something else that you don't want to do.
Correct.
So when I was starting as an entrepreneur, all allowed me to definitely keep me disciplined, to allow me to make a lot of money. I was with women who was on the same path.
That makes sense.
I wasn't with women who was going to the club.
You wasn't just women that just look good.
Or no,
they had to be aligned.
No, all my women always look good, but she had to be aligned with what I wanted to do. You get what I'm saying? She has to be aligned with exactly the path that I'm going on.
Correct.
Because we have to communicate. You know what I'm saying?
Communication
You're talking
is
to
big.
me.
Yes,
if I'm
for
talking
sure.
to you on a daily basis, or if I'm even communicating where you're giving me my time and effort, I gotta know you have a brain to even be able to communicate back and forth with me, that I can have conversations with you. So I don't just, I don't think marriage, it's the best for everybody.
I think it's a beautiful thing with the right person.
It's a beautiful thing with the right person.
I would say, let me rephrase that. I wouldn't say the right person. I would say you just don't want to pick the wrong person. You get what I'm saying? The right person, I don't know if it's the right person. Y'all need to grow together. As long as the person is in line with what you say, y'all on the same path. I think the thing
about it, I don't think I don't think marriage, I think it's good to have a relationship with someone, but when it comes to doing contracts and things like that, girls change.
Do you believe in prenups and stuff like that?
I believe in prenup, but sometimes I think those things can be manipulated.
It could.
Those things can be manipulated in a way where it don't even work towards your benefit. So I think you definitely have to just separate your assets and make sure that you're protected in any way if you decide that you want to bring a woman
certain
into your life
and certain
on
layers.
that level.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying? But I don't think that, I think the world that has made marriage in a way where it made it that, you have to be married to become successful. No, you don't.
No, I don't think so.
You have to be aligned with someone that's on the same path as you, so you can stay focused.
You don't want to feel like you don't want to get married and feel like you're in bondage, because in the marriage you guys are going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
The person that you meet when you get married may not be the same, and say with you, y'all shouldn't be the same. Yeah. In 3 years, 5 years, 7, you're going to always be growing. So you want to be aligned and on the same path. If you're growing and this person not growing and she growing and you're not growing, it's going to cause conflict. It's going to affect how your thought process is, how you show up to work. You got to be aligned on the same page.
I will say this: when it comes to love and relationships, love isn't just something that I know everybody thinks that you just love that person. It just happens. Love is an action. You can decide to love somebody.
And I also think love is a decision.
Yeah.
It's a decision.
It's an action. It's a decision, So it's up to you whether you love that person or not at the end of the day.
Because I don't think love is always a feeling. Feelings go up and down. I love ice cream. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I love it tomorrow. So
you can definitely, I get what you definitely, love is like an emotional attachment. Yeah. The thing about it when it comes to with how I love, you get what I'm saying? When it comes to a woman, there's some women that I still love to this day. You get what I'm saying? Because I just got emotionally attached to that woman. You get what I'm saying? In a different way that I didn't get emotionally attached to other women. Mm-hmm. Some women I didn't like being single. Some women I don't get emotionally attached to them. Correct. I just meet them and that's it.
And by the way, I just want to clarify what I was referencing was scripture. Because it says, men love your wives and
as Christ loved the church. Right?
And the thing is that when it comes to that, it's more of a decision of whether you're going to or not. It's up to you.
Yep.
So
it's a decision.
It doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
It's a decision, but it's also you want to wrap that decision around boundaries as well.
Yeah.
There's certain things that you won't accept.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying? I'm not gonna.
But you gotta know that from the beginning.
A woman has to respect you. One thing when it comes to relationship,
that's the highest thing.
When it comes to relationship, if your woman starts to disrespect you, you got to let her go. You got to punish her. Let her set her like with me. If a woman comes into my life, she's only gonna just grow. That's the plus. I'm like, that's all she's gonna take more from me than she's gonna give to me.
Yeah.
Like what?
So she can't disrespect you.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So if she starts to disrespect you, you gotta let her go for a certain period of time. Separate herself. Let her go figure her shit out. And then when she figure her shit out and she get her shit together, then you can be like, okay, cool, come on. Let me see what you got going on. And me, when I separate from someone, I don't give what they got going on, because I'm already doing my thing.
Correct. You have to focus on your own path.
You get what I'm saying? I'm chilling, doing my own thing. I don't care what you got going on. You just need to get your together, and once you get your together, we can come back in my life, and then we can see if you even deserve to be back into my life.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
correct.
Absolutely. So, and by the way, we keep bringing up scripture and all that. Not sure. Are you Christian?
I'm Christian.
Okay.
I grew up as a Christian.
Okay.
I grew up as a Christian. My mom went to church every single day. But the thing about it, as I grew up, I'm Christian. Let me just keep it like that.
Okay. Okay. For me, I'm more so I don't like to call myself a religion, man. It's more so for me spiritual in a relationship with God. You
yeah,
know? I don't like to put myself in
like a mix and stuff. Yeah, 100%. I can definitely.
Foundationally, I grew up Christian as well.
Foundationally, I grew up Christian, so I can say definitely natural law. I believe in do good to people and things good will happen to you. You know, so I just feel like good things will always happen to people who are good people.
Yeah.
And with relationship, man, you definitely make sure you have to find a partner that you're gonna be that's gonna stick by you.
You gotta have morals, bro. This is why I'm asking these questions, because you can't. Everybody gets caught up with the wrong chick.
Yeah,
they get caught up with the wrong chick, but she's out here naked on Instagram, and you think she's gonna be the love of your life and she's gonna be loyal to you. That's not gonna happen, bro.
But what happens in most relationships that mess relationship up, especially when it comes, a lot of women let me tell you about me for example. Like a lot of women when they come around me, it's like to see how successful I am. Sometimes it's an insecurity because I like dating women who have doing something for themselves.
Yeah.
Because if a woman's doing something for themselves,
they got their own motion going on. Okay, they can go. Yeah.
Because with me, I've been in relationship where I don't have a kid yet, right? Like one of my relationship, we had the woman I was with, we did what is it called when you get rid of the baby?
What, an abortion?
Abortion, right? And I realized she did an abortion, but the reason why, because she didn't feel like, she looked at me as, oh, you were so successful that you could leave me and I'm gonna be here with this kid. And she was an entrepreneur.
Well,
she was a base. She was
most women would keep the baby because they see how successful you are.
She was more that in that way where she felt like, oh, because she was doing her own business too. And she didn't want to have a baby to come into the mix. You know the thing about me, I did a lot of attractive women. So a lot of attractive women be thinking about, oh, if I get the baby right now, my body's going to look like this.
But did she do it behind your back or did you let her?
No. She definitely told me what she wanted to do and things like that. I told her that your body, whatever decision that you make is your decision that you make. But did it ruin the relationship? Yes, it did.
Yeah.
We didn't talk since then. I mean, she messaged me every single day.
In that case, she slaughtered a child. That's literally what she did. And I think in that case, in that scenario, then we go through these mistakes, as men. But I think in that situation, bro, I know they always say my body, my choice. I don't believe in that, bro. I think it's the man's decision. It's his child as well. And the woman shouldn't have the final say if she gets to slaughter your child or not.
It should definitely be
talk about it first of all.
Yeah,
but the final decision is not the woman.
They usually say it's the woman because they feel like she's the one carrying the baby and it's her body.
Modern day American propaganda. And they poison the whole world with this garbage. But a woman shouldn't have the final say as to whether she gets to slaughter a baby or not.
Yeah.
Especially your baby.
Yeah, 100%.
She literally slaughtered your baby.
But that's the past though, Yeah. But the thing about it, when it comes to relationship, right? It's like you have to make sure what I realize with women, a lot of women are not, if they're not happy with themselves, they're not happy with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They got to do the work.
They got to do the work.
I'm not here. I'm not going to be the one to really make you happy. You should already bring peace. You should already be on your own path. You should already have your own joy.
Yeah.
We should add to each other. Yeah. But if you're looking for me or am I looking for you to bring me happiness, you already started off on the wrong
It's on the wrong path. Like you should be happy in your own skin. I should be happy in my own skin. So a lot of people, like when it came to relationship, what I noticed why a lot of people relationship don't work is because they're women, or like most women want to be a stay-at-home wife, or they working so hard in their day. And when it comes to the women who are dating successful men, if you want to date a successful man, you have to have your stuff together.
You have to. You have to add value.
Because if you're dating a person who's already making 7-figure, 8 figures, right? That's like 0.1% of the world.
0.0001%.
All the girls are trying to date that person right now. Right. So now, because all the girls are trying to date that person, what's going to make you stand out? Oh, your looks? And guys are not really emotionally attached.
Not even about looks. Because there's so many. I mean, we're in Miami, bro. I mean, it's so many. What stands out outside of the looks? You got a brain. Do you have on your own pathway? What are your morals? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Morals and values are a priority.
One of the things for us is number one is respect. Like, that's the highest level for a man. And then also, we're not going to let nobody compromise our peace.
Oh, no. Heck no. Nobody can compromise your peace.
You know how you really, a good way to filter out a lot of that from the beginning is you got to ask the right questions, bro. You gotta ask.
They could fake. I mean, when I interview people to hire them, they say great at the interview, but then when you hire that person,
you can tell though. You can tell with just by the verbiage and just pick up the way she says it. Like you can ask, like, do you like? Again, speaking biblically, we believe that a woman needs to submit to her husband.
Yeah.
Now, you ask her, is that something you're willing to do? Submit to me as your husband and willing to obey me. That word obey by itself.
Say obey me. That's gonna be tough.
It scares them away when they're not in the right place. If a woman is
obey me, she gonna be like,
if a
what?
woman's not ready to say she's gonna obey you and submit, she's not ready to submit.
She's not ready to submit.
So you already know right out the gate what it is.
Yeah.
Because a woman,
wordplay and language makes a big factor.
About it, what I realized,
that one word, bro.
The thing about it, you see, I was married, right? So the thing about it is like what I realized is that most women change when you get married to them and things over time.
It does. But I had a great time in the dating space.
Yeah, in the dating space,
when
you're gonna have
married,
the best time.
It's a completely different
now they
commitment.
feel like they have attachment. They feel like they have control.
When a person,
she's like, oh, I made it. I got it. I'm already in a position. I don't have to work for it no more.
Yeah, when a person
I got
like they
leverage.
have attachment and control, they feel like they have leverage over you. You get what I'm saying? So you definitely. That's why I don't really believe in marriage anymore, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, I really don't even believe in marriage. I think you can be with, like me, I would buy a woman the most expensive ring for her to have it on her hand and show off to her friends. And I'll do that.
But you know, what about getting married without the paperwork?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Having a ceremony. You get what I'm saying?
We can do all of that. We can be locked in. We can have businesses together. We can do that.
Yeah.
But for me to say, hey, I want to split things with you when I'm leaving you.
Yeah, because it gotta make sense.
I don't mind. Like, let's say I'm with a person and I'm leaving them. I don't mind giving you things so you can be self-sufficient, or if you need to be self-sufficient. But first and foremost, I'm not even looking for people who can't be self-sufficient
But here's for me, it has to make sense. When you marry somebody, like as a man, okay, what am I giving up to marry you? Because I don't really need you to clean. I can hire somebody to clean. I can hire somebody to cook. I mean, in Miami, I can date attractive women. Like, what is it about you that's going to say, I'm going to give up all of this, and then if I do decide to go the separate ways, you're going to get a half of everything I done worked and built for?
Nah.
You got to be a special individual for a man to be able to commit to something like that.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I'm saying? That's why the thing I always tell women, like, if you're going to be dating a man and you want to date a successful man, try to get your stuff together.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is, like, a successful man, he's probably have sexual intercourse with a lot of different women, right? Because it's an ease for a successful man. So because of that, what's going to stand you apart of all these other women that man meets?
Peace, respect,
if you want a successful man, try to find a guy who's starting out right now, who don't have his shit together, and build with him.
Build together, that's also a good way to go.
But if you're trying to jump from
just
not having
already while they already
who's already successful and you're trying to figure your stuff out, it's like, yo, you tripping. You get what I'm saying? It's like a lot of women, that's what most women think, and it's not the reality. Most women, a lot of women, this is the thing. In one of my relationship, my ex will be like, oh, I'll find a man as successful as you. Go ahead. Girls be having a delusional mindset, thinking
that's a
like,
very small percentage of people,
listen.
It's a very small percentage of people that make 6 figures, let alone 7, let alone 8.
Exactly. But not only just off of finances, is connections and things that you build with person. People don't realize everybody is different. And when it comes to the finances part, you're not gonna just meet a guy who is Boniface Ogunti that's gonna want you. It doesn't work like that.
Way.
No guy just gonna meet you and just be like, oh, I just want you. Like,
that person, that don't mean they're gonna like this.
But if a woman is coming to try to get with an 8-figure earner, what do you bring into the table? Like
can't be just looks.
What do you even have to bring to the table to match?
Oh, there's so many bad girls in Miami here that are freaking killing it. Bro, I was at an event. I met so many chicks at this event that was making 6-figure, 7-figure, and just doing their thing. All they want is a man.
Yeah.
I be telling girls like, yo, put yourself together and become the person that you want to attract.
Correct.
If you want a man that's successful, put yourself together so you can attract that successful man.
But here's the thing, with a woman who's trying to, get herself an 8-figure earner kind of guy, what do you bring into the table? A Clinton body count, where you got a laundry list of dudes who done already.
Or even women that's successful, though. I think women that's successful that make big money, Some of the times they may not be willing to submit because they got their own thing.
But that's different now. So what I've been realizing,
so as a man, you're gonna have to submit. I'll make the final decisions.
Yeah.
Time has changed. But we don't need a woman to be successful. We don't care for that.
But no, I think we live in a different world now. I don't need my woman to make 8 figures and like that. No. But I want you to be self-sufficient to be able to pay your bills.
I want you to be happy.
I want you to be happy. I want you to have something going on for yourself, so your happiness is not attached to me.
Yeah.
I want your happiness to be attached to you.
Yeah.
So you can be happy for yourself. Because when I come around, you're happy and I'm happy. We're both happy.
Correct.
But I feel like a lot of women needs to put themselves together, so then when they meet their partner, it's easier. And the time has changed, like I was saying. In today's day and time, it's not like how it used to be, where women has to work their ass off and be so stressed out to be able to make an income for themselves. Yeah. That's not the situation.
They got options now, man.
There's social media.
Yeah, they got options.
There's girls on TikTok right now that are killing it, posting a few video and stuff like that.
There's a lot of women that make more than men.
There's killing it. They're doing their thing. They're not stressed out.
Yeah.
I've hanging around a lot of girls in Miami here who are freaking making 7 figures.
Yeah.
And all they probably want is a man, and they're not stressed out.
Yeah.
And they're young.
Yeah.
A lot of them are like, what, 24, 25,
yeah.
20, 22, 23.
Yeah.
And they're all killing it. 20, 27.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is like, you need to most women now need to put themselves together. And as a successful man, we shouldn't look at ourselves like, hey, we just want to get a woman that's just going to just be there. No, you don't want a woman that's just going to be there. You want a woman that's going to add value to you.
And they got morals. Absolutely. And are we aligned?
Yeah.
Those things are important. You could be successful, you can have great looks, but if you don't have morals, if me and you not aligned, it's gonna be like this.
And if she's not willing to be submissive, she's not willing to be submissive, bro, it's gonna be hell. I'm telling you right now.
And I don't want to abuse my submissive power.
Yeah.
But you have to be submissive because I'm gonna be the one that's making the final decisions. Because I'm the leader.
I don't mean
I'm the head.
And I don't mean abusing.
Yeah, but that's just how it is, though. You gotta be submissive.
Yeah,
it has to happen, or else I'm telling you, you're gonna go through hell, bro.
Yeah, as a man, you gotta make sure your woman is self-sufficient.
Correct.
You got to make sure your woman has something going on for herself. Or else, if your woman don't have something going on for herself, it's going to be very hard in that relationship.
It'll become competition with your business. The time that you put it into grow something in an empire,
it's going to be
more
work
your time because that's
mode.
Correct.
A lot of women, if she's fully dependent on a man, she's not going to want that man to do too much.
Yeah.
Because it's going to come from
she don't want
fear.
Someone to
somebody to come and take that man from her.
Correct.
So I always say, make sure your woman is doing something, because you can never really be in a true happy relationship with someone if their whole emotions and their happiness is dictated towards you. They have to be doing something for themselves.
Correct.
They don't have to do the most. She don't have to be a multi-millionaire. But even if she's making 10, 15, 20,000 a month by herself and she's happy in her own skin.
They need a purpose. They got to have some type of purpose.
Exactly.
It could be writing a book. It could be a foundation. It could be whatever she want to be.
To do, you know? Even if it's a hobby, something.
It has to be.
We don't need them to be the provider. You know what I mean?
No.
We make the money. We provide. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, find something to do that you like to do on the side. You know, you don't need to make millions.
So what's next for Bonnie? What's any new projects, any new ventures we should be looking out about?
So I launched Circle of Success.
Okay.
Circle of Success is my company.
Okay.
Is my company, Circle of Success, and pretty much what we're doing now is we're going to be doing a lot of events, mastermind events, what we'll be doing here in Miami.
Is this related to the agency?
That's related to the agency. So Circle of Success has different offerings. We help people start their own agency business. Like we help people who have a 9-to-5 job. They're Uber drivers. They're working regular job. They're making less than $10,000 a month, and they want to make more money. We show them exactly how to sell services online by starting their own agency and just leveraging service providers to do the work for them. So,
and by the way, that's what the agency does. It helps them learn how to sell things like affiliate marketing stuff.
So yes. So the agency pretty much helped them how to just find freelancers that specialize in different services for them to put that service underneath their umbrella. So let's say your agency is specialized in Facebook ads. You're not the one that's going to do the Facebook ads work. You're going to go on a platform, you outsource that to somebody else, and then they do the work for you.
Got it.
So then you make a profit.
And it can be any type of agency.
It can be any type of agency. It does not limit it on anything. And let's say you charge $2,000 for your services. If you charge $2,000 for your services and it costs you to fulfill that service $500, $700, you're left with $1,500 profit. Yeah. You got 10 clients a month on that.
Yeah,
that's 1,000. That's
15,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, what he's saying is if it costs you about $500 in ad spend, to generate that $2,000 client, you just made a $1,500 profit.
Yeah, not even just the ad spend, on the fulfillment. So if it costs you, let's say your service provider, your freelancer that you're sending that service to charges you $500, or $700. Let's say they charge you $1,000, and then you go and you build website funnels for a person and you charge them $2,000, $3,000. Now you're left with $2,000 in profit. You get 5-6 clients for them to pay you. You're killing it. So as an entrepreneur, a person who's just starting out, it's the easiest business for them to start as an agency, because when you start an agency, you just have to interview service providers. In my program, I have a 6-week program where it teaches them exactly from A to Z on how to start the agency business. So in that program, I'm walking them through, hey, this is how you find services to sell. These are the most high demand services. This is how you gain clients. And some people don't want to spend money on marketing to be able to gain clients. So I show them how to gain clients organically. Then I also show them exactly how to build their agency business, from setting up their entire agency platform, their agency websites, and every single thing. Then I give them operations. Hey, this is how you actually manage your entire business, so you don't have to work in the business. You can have your service providers doing all the work for you by hiring a project manager that work with your service provider. And then now all you're doing is just making money because you're the agency owner. And you have the reputation because you already have results that you have proven from your other clients. Then I also show them how to conduct interviews and meetings with potential clients. So let's say, because a lot of people don't know how to do sales calls. So I teach them how to do sales calls, how to get on a call with clients and close those clients. I show them that. I show them everything. So that's the entire agency program. Then within Circle of Success, we have events that we do. Then we also have Quantum Creative Growth, where we help coaches, consultants, experts, business owners. We teach them exactly how to actually create systems in their business that can help them get to 7 figures and 8 figures. And we have over 100 case studies that have proven that.
So I want to add to what you're saying is that, you know, a lot of times somebody might have the issue of putting that money up front. But what I've gone to realize is that, you know, you got to look at it like this. It's all about perspective. Does it hurt more now to pay the price now than it would to be in the same place 2 years from now? Which one hurts more? Paying the price.
The knowledge you don't know is going to hurt you.
Or being in the same place 2 years from now.
I think people don't know what they don't know.
You don't know.
And if people want to get ahead, the most successful people I know, they invested in themselves. They found, like you mentioned, resources. They probably didn't have the money. You've seen how I struggled in network marketing my first 3-4 years, going to events, investing money that I didn't have, and then boom, most people won't do that. They're going to look at, say, well, when I start making money, or they're going to calculate the cost. No, you need to pay for that information. You need to pay for a mentor that's already can take you along the way. I mean, you got so many incredible testimonials of people that's came in and got to 6 figures, 7 figures, and even beyond. I'm a reader. What would you say was a book that changed everything for you? A book that you was able to say, man, this was an incredible book.
When it comes to reading, the first book that ever changed things for me, that was the first book I ever read in my life. It was called The Slight Edge.
Slight Edge.
So one of my friends actually recommended that book. Another book that I like is
that was Slight Edge. I don't know if that was Darren Hardy, or I forgot who was the author of that book. I heard that book before.
Yeah, it's a really good book.
I'm going to look at it.
Another book I really like too is the Outwitting the Devil. And when we talk about people belief, and that book is something that people need to read and listen to.
What it's called? Outwitting the Devil?
Outwitting the Devil.
I listened to that audio. It's a unique audio to listen
because
to.
a lot of people, to think about it, they have a lot of self-doubt.
In that book, they like playing on your mind.
They have a lot of self-doubt. A lot of people are just freaking idiots. They just call it what it is. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's so many opportunities on social media right now for people to make money for themselves. If they're not actually tapping into those things, it's their fault. I don't blame nobody for the situation.
The information's there.
I don't blame if a motherfucker ain't got shit, if he's sitting there and he's not hitting his goals and doing his shit, it's that motherfucker's fault. You can sit your ass down for 1 month and focus on one task, and you can be good at it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are not focused. They don't want to sit down and get things done. So I don't blame nobody for the situation they're in. But that book, Outwitting the Devil, allows them to reprogram their mind, letting them know that they can achieve those things for themselves.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they have self-doubt. Every single day they're thinking, oh, their friends, their family, the people around them are holding them back, telling them, hey, you can't do that. They're surrounded by so many people who just don't believe in themselves. They're surrounded by their friends that work 9-to-5 jobs that are making $10 an hour, $20 an hour, and they think that's the reality of the world, but it's not.
Right.
It's not. I walk down my street in Miami here, I see cars worth $4 million.
Correct.
But let's not even just say Miami. When I was in Minnesota, when I started off and I used to hang around people who work 9-to-5 job, I said, this is not what I want my life to be like. I got around all the people who I saw that was thriving to do entrepreneurship, and I got into that circle. I became valuable. I learned. I took time to improve myself. And I said, hey, this is what you guys are doing? What do you guys need? Yo, what do you need, bro? Let's work.
You know something that you just said, that you just touched on. You force yourself into these groups.
And he became valuable.
Exactly.
My mentor told me that years ago. If you becoming a person of value, money will always chase you.
Yeah,
and
that's facts.
But check it. He said he forced himself into these groups. Now, how a good way to do it for a lot of people who don't really know anything about that?
Yeah.
Networking events, bro.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Gold.
Yeah.
There's meetups.
Yeah.
Meetups. That's how you do it.
How
bro.
I even broke into Miami when I didn't even know anyone in Miami here. When I first came to Miami, I just went to Meetup. I went on meetup.com and I went on social media events.
A bunch of people.
And I just met a bunch of people.
On the same page as you. On the same page.
First time I ever came to Miami.
I think that's very underrated, bro. Networking events.
I didn't know nobody in Miami. I just went online, said, go to Meetup. I went to meetup.com and I went and typed in
And they're all like-minded
social media
people.
businesses.
All like-minded
And
people.
I seen all these people that are doing social media business. That's why I'm sure, that's why we have to say it's like there's no pittiness for people who don't have what they want.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have what you want, it's your fault. You need to get your together and get on your and start to do the things that matters so you can actually grow. Or you're going to stay in the same position you're in your whole life, and then you're never going to achieve your success. And you're going to say, oh, the reason why I'm not here is because the environment, my government, my family, this person hold me back. No one holding you back but yourself. Wake up and take personal responsibility.
No victim mentality, bro.
No victim mentality.
Well, thank you so much, Bonnie, for joining us, man.
Of course.
Let the people know where they can find you at, man.
You can follow me on Instagram at Boniface Ogunti. I'm mostly active on there. Also my YouTube channel, but Instagram, you can follow me. I'm active on there most of the time.
Appreciate your time, bro.
Of course, my brother.
Much continued success, my brother.
Of course.
Absolutely.